Hello everyone, this is Bytesauce and welcome to episode 24 of Feed the Beast Unleashed. And today I want to do something with this stuff, mob essence. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach a valve to the back. Ta-da! And we're going to paint this green just so it matches, and then simply break all this out of the way and add a ender tank. And obviously leave it to get it all out. Ta-da! Right, need to do some other things, so I'm going to grab some other machines and I'll be back. Mob essence basically is like liquid experience. Now, one thing you can do with it, which is a bit messy, but hey, we'll do it anyway. If I throw it down, I can grab one of these, which is a straw, and drink up the source block. Eventually this will all dissipate, and you gain some extra experience. So all you do, grab another bucket, throw it down, drink it, and if you watch my bar, it'll go up very slightly. Obviously I'm level 102, won't go up very much, but that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to use these blocks here, which is an Auto-Enchanter and Auto-Anvil. Now, what these do is this, if you add an item to the top, say a thormic grafter, thormic pickaxe, you know, just any sort of item, or a book, and you set the level, this way it will begin to enchant the item with the mob experience to gain enchants. But to do that, it requires power. It takes quite a while to do, depending on the level. If I reduce this, as you can see, the work units changes quite a bit. So it needs power, experience, and obviously an item. Now this is basically the same, but rather than where this enchants things, this does what are they called? What anvils do. So if you add a basic item and a book with an enchant on it, it will apply the enchant without actually using any of your own experience down here. It'll just use the mob experience. So I'm going to place these two blocks, plus this block here, which is an Auto-Disenchanter, and I'll explain what that does later, in this area. So I'm basically going to remove all this because I won't need it anymore. And I'll just place it along that back wall. So I will be back in a bit. Okay, so I've placed down my Auto-Enchanter. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Auto-Enchanter here, Disenchanter here, and my anvil here. And what I want to do is get my where is it? Transport pipe. This one, whatever this one's called, a liquid basic pipe and a liquid extractor pipe. And we'll put that there. Right. And then what we want to do is we want to throw down the ender tank that we've got that matches the other one. Place the extractor pipe on top, and then we want to place this here. So this is the basic pipe, and then we hook these up with some golden pipes like so, and the same with this one. Also, the Disenchanter doesn't need any liquid mob essence, so it just needs power to work. That's the one I was looking for. So yeah, I don't need to hook anything up to these right now. So these are hooked up. The problem is they have no power. So I need to come down here and attach it to this. I need to grab a couple of basic pipes actually. Okay, got them. So just replace this one with a basic pipe and run this gold pipe all the way down onto this here. So if I just replace this one with a basic as well, and grab that piece of bouncy pipe, and we can take this across here and attach there. Right, so now this has power, and what it should do is begin to extract from the tank into little fluid capsules, and eventually fill this with mob essence. But we do need to tell these basic pipes that it needs a mob essence. So if we grab a bucket, give her a click, grab our wrench, wherever that's gone, and click that in there, then we should start to see little capsules going up with mob essence inside them. Damn, can't talk today. So I'm going to do the same with this side, and that sorts out the mob essence inside, which is pretty good. So you might be wondering why I used fluid pipes instead of liquid pipes instead of just having liquid duct. Well, the thing is I want to keep it as tidy as I can, and for this one block alone, I'm going to have 4 inputs and outputs, so not of each, just in total. So for that, I want to try and keep it as tidy as I can, so I've covered these over with facades. I'm also going to put a facade on here, and then add a supplier pipe. And to the supplier pipe, I'm going to say, keep 1 book stocked. So there we go. That'll eventually pull down a book and add it into this slot. Now I have turned this off, because I didn't want it to create the books just yet. But the other thing I need is a fuzzy import bus. So I'm going to grab that quick. Okay, so I've added some cable to my Mistcraft page ME system. And I've just brought the cable around here. And it comes up here. Now all I want to do, click this on here. Actually, before we do that, let's just add a facade onto the top. And then click that onto there. That'll break through the facade. I'll probably change that dirt for something else. And now we want to tell this facade to only import enchanted books. Now, the reason I've used a fuzzy import bus rather than a precision one is because if I put this one into a precision one, it would only extract ones with silk touch, and I want it to extract any enchanted book, no matter what the enchant on it is. So this way it will pull out all of them. And we wanted to keep it always active, and it doesn't really matter which one of these goes on. And that way it'll pull out anything from this slot, including this book, if we could put it in, but we can't. Oh, can't do that either. So yeah, that'll put it into this system. But before we do that, we want to set something else up for this. So let me just grab that. Okay, so I've got 2 1K storage cells, and for each one of these I'm going to change this to fuzzy the same way I changed the bus to fuzzy, and I'm going to say only allow enchanted books to be stored into this. Click format and do the same for this one as well. So make sure that's on fuzzy. Format that, and it says allowed fuzzy, allowed fuzzy. So that's that. And we can throw these in here, and that way what will happen is only enchanted books will be allowed on them 2 storage cells. I'm going to do the same for these, but instead of having storage cells, I'm going to use pages. So I'm going to tell each one of these that they can only store pages on them, and that way I can keep the cells separate in case I ever want to split the system up. So I'm going to do that off camera, so I'll be back in a bit. So set them up, and that's pretty much it for the Auto-Enchanter. Now, as you can see, it's storing 2 bucks, but that's just because it told it to when I pulled the other one up. Now if I give this a quick wrench, it will start to enchant the book. Now a quick tip for this is, if you don't want it to just randomly, if you want a specific enchant, it's pretty hard to get, except if you want repair. Now if you use your Auto-Anvil grafter and throw this in, once this is enchanted its way, it should almost always on level 30 have repair 2 on it. Now once it's done that, I'll show you how to get it off and put it onto a book. So I'm going to wait for it to graft up, and then I'll come back. So there we go, it's completed itself, and another book's just been inserted in, and it's got repair 2. Now it's all well and good having repair 2 on a foaming grafter, but I want it on other things. So what you do, throw it into your Auto-Disenchanter, put a book in, and as you'll see, the work units will start to craft up. And what it'll do is it'll strip off any enchant off the item that's in it. Now, if the item has more than 1 enchant, it has a chance of pulling off 1 of the enchants. It doesn't pull them all off; it just takes off 1. But once it's done, it will take some damage. Depending on the tool that you put in, it'll take obviously different amounts of damage. And yeah, so once this is completed, we should have a repair 2 book, and this has took only 1 durability actually, which is pretty good. And we've got a repair 2. So I'm actually going to throw this back in here. So I've then got a Auto-Anvil grafter with repair 2 on it. So I'm going to do that off camera, back in a bit. Now while I'm waiting for the repair to be enchanted, as I said before, all this Auto-Anvil does is if you throw an item into it, and say you were to throw the repair book into it, it would eventually come back and the Auto-Anvil pickaxe would have repair 2 on it. I don't really need it to have repair 2 on it, so that's it. So this should almost be done, nearly there, and as I'll show you again, see, repair 2 again. So that's an easy way to get repair enchant. Right, I'm going to move on to something else, back in a bit. So off camera, and between episodes, quite a lot of episodes, I've had my center panel in grafton, and I've finally got enough to complete it. So I've created myself 27 impregnated casings, and I think it's 216 centered panelings now. So I'm just going to throw all this in here, and then I should be able to craft myself 27 Alveary frames. Now to go with the Alveary frames, I want to craft one of these, so throw that in there, and I just want one of these. And if I type in lighting, I also want a Alveary lighting, so craft one of them as well. And then the other thing I want is 7 frame housings. Now I did a bit of testing off on a test world, and then I gave up and went to a wiki and found out that 7 frame housings is the maximum you can have to increase the output. So I've got 7 of them. Right, now all I need is some slabs. Oakwood slabs still do. And I can go off into my boom room. And then all I need to do is build the Alveary. So let's build it. Let's put it here. Why not? So I'm going to build that, and I'll come back. Okay, I think I have everything. Soon find out. I changed these to walnut. Don't know why. Kind of don't really like them, to be honest. What I've done is I've sunk it one into the floor. All it is it's a 3x3, 3x3x3 actually, with any sort of wood slabs on the top. I think the wood slabs have to either be from vanilla or forestry, so yeah, if it doesn't work, that's probably why. I've added the rain shield to this side, and I've added the lighting to this side. So I've got my 7 frame housings on the bottom, and to each of the frame housings I've added a supply logistics pipe. Crafted myself up a impregnated frame, and I'm going to tell it to keep stocked on every single one of these. Now I've got 7 of these to do. I'm not going to do that on camera. The other thing I want to do is, if I just quickly steal this because I won't need it shortly. I've got my apiarist's pipe. Jump back up here and add this to the back down here. And then if I've got a facade, put that on there. Finally, wooden pipe. Autarkic gate, and I'll set this up in a bit. So let's just go back down here, and I want to tell this to the same as the other ones. Send the bees this way and send everything else. Let's see, to the black. So for some reason we can't click it. There we go, down to the black one, and then I'll send all of the excess items down to this system, and it'll all end up on the floor like that. Now, the reason I've removed this pipe here is because now I've got this system in place, I can upgrade this a little bit. So, what I wanted to do is, this is a B-Sync logistics pipe. And if I just add this to the bottom here, what this will do is it'll request, if we can click it with a wrench, any bees. So, any bees in the system whatsoever will be sent down into this route and go into that the indexer, that's the one. Now that means that because all the stuff that's coming from down here, which is getting spat out at me currently, all this has currently got a route to go, which is the default route. Any combs are sent to be centrifuged and whatnot, so everything has its own route. So all we need to do is add a basic logistics, and that way everything will sort itself out. So I'm going to wrench all of these and tell them all to keep stocked a frame, and then I will connect this up as well, and then I'll come back. There you go, everything's hooked up, and as you can see there's weird little sparkles going on. They're all trying to request frames, and when they do eventually get crafted up, they will be sent down here straight into the frame housings. Now that's the good thing about Alvearies, is you can actually, with these frame blocks, you can actually pump frames into them, whereas these you can't. If you try and pump frames into these, they just end up spat out on top and spin around for a bit and eventually despawn. Where these you can keep stocked with frames. So there we go. Now I need to grab a couple of other things and I'll come back. Okay, so the original idea for my first Alveary was to add these things, which is refined queen and refined drone, and that's what I've been working on off camera. Now what these produce is oily combs, which if we just put up here, oily combs, and they also produce petroleum combs or something like that, and each one produces oily propolis, and the other ones produce a petroleum propolis. So here we go, there's this one. and from them, when you squeeze them down, they produce a certain amount of fuel or oil, which I was going to use to create energy. Now, the problem is since I've started to create this Alveary, I've noticed it takes a very long time to actually produce the materials. So what I'm probably actually going to do between episodes is use them to produce like additional honey, which I'm using ebony drones to do that. Or if I need, I'll produce some royal jelly or some what's it called, pollen. So off camera I'll be doing that, but next episode I will eventually put the refined drones into them, and I will also create a method to increase the production of the bees. So that's it for episode 24 of Feed the Beast Unleashed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe, and I'll see you later.